Hello everybody, my name is Qrowe and this is Qrowe's Nest Book Reviews, my brand new YouTube channel. I've been wanting to get into BookTube for probably about the last 6 months on and off. I've been thinking about it and I finally got out and got a webcam, playing some videos, and I'm sitting down and making my very first introduction video. So I'm really excited to join the community of other great people talking about books they love. A little bit about me. I am 25 years old. I have been reading for most of my life. When I was a kid, I was reading Goosebumps, Harry Potter, Margaret Peterson Haddix, and pretty much any other book or book series that was popular at the time. When I got into middle school and junior high, I didn't read as much because I was hanging out with friends, spending a lot of time outside, and just doing stuff like that. When I got into high school, that's when I started to really get back into reading. I started reading Stephen King. My first Stephen King book was The Stand, the uncut edition, and that is still one of my favorite King books to date, even though I've now read probably about, I want to say about 14 or 15 of his books, I believe now. It's still in my top two, pretty much tied with 11, 22, 63. I also read Song of Ice and Fire. That was when the TV show Game of Thrones was really taking off and going crazy, and I was curious about what's the deal with this. And that was kind of my first really serious adult fantasy series, and that's kind of what kick-started my reading again. And as you can see, it worked pretty well. There's actually 2 more of these shelves off screen that are also completely full. I haven't figured out how to get them in one video frame quite yet. Future me will figure that out at some point. I will find a way because I love these shelves and I love looking at these shelves. And when I first really got back into reading, I owned maybe, I want to say, maybe 15% of this. I took a picture in 2018, I still have it saved, that has one of these shelves full. And that was it. Just one single shelf. And it's snowballed into this, and it keeps snowballing. I probably own about 600. And I probably won't stop collecting books anytime soon. I kind of want to be one of those people one day that just has a room that is just books on every wall, everywhere. But that's many years away from now, probably. I plan to do book reviews. I plan to maybe do some TV, movie talk, who knows. Music, I'm a very big music person. I might talk about music in the future, but books will probably be the main focus. Right now I'm working on 2 books right now. One book I'm physically reading and another audiobook. The physical book is The Thousandfold Thought. That's book 3 of Prince of Nothing series by R. Scott Bakker. And I've really loved that series so far. It's a very, very dark, very grim world, but it's absolutely love it. I haven't really dived too deep into that book because I've been more listening to the audiobook, which is To Green Angel Tower Part 2 by Tad Williams, and that's book 3 of Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. That book alone is about 550,000 words, and they kind of split it into 2 parts, and I read book 1 last month, part 1 last month with a bunch of other people, and now I'm reading part 2 with a bunch of other people. And I've been really loving it so far. I've been focusing on that. I'm probably about, I want to say, probably about halfway through the part 2 there. So I'm getting close to the end there, even though there's still another 4 or 5 books in the series after this trilogy. Who knows? And those books are also ginormously long. But I'm excited to read them all. I'll probably take a little break after this trilogy is done and read some other things and get back to it maybe later in the year. My first book review, I'm actually not sure what that will be because it kind of feels weird to start with reviewing book 3 in series I'm already in the middle of. The next series I start will be Kingsbridge by Ken Follett with Pillars of the Earth. I've been wanting to get into historical fiction for a very long time, and I just never really kicked myself in the gear to start doing it. And so I'm reading this with a group of other people, and that's kind of I guess the excuse I needed. So that might be the first actual book review I do. I'm rereading Lycanius 1 here soon by James Islington, but that's a reread, and I've read the other books in the series, so I don't know if I'll really be able to do a good review of that when I have the other book's future knowledge, and that might really affect my opinion. So I'm not sure. But I've been wanting to review for a long time just because when I read, I will read the book and then go, oh, that was awesome, or oh, that sucked, and then just move on to the next book. And that's not as fun. So I wanted to really kind of start reviewing and actually like looking and deep diving into what I like about books. I mean, I have a good idea of what I like in books, but I've never really been good at fully expressing it, only kind of internalizing it, like being like, oh man, I love all of these things. Four stars or 5 stars or 2 or 1 stars. Though I rarely ever hate a book. I'm a very positive person in general. I tend to always be able to find something to redeem about most books. There's a few very glaring exceptions to that rule, and I might talk about those eventually, who knows, but I tend to find something to like in just about anything. So that might be another thing that this channel might help me do, to actually maybe maybe not really become more super critical, but maybe be able to find more to say, oh, this might be a problem to some other people, but I can still say, oh, I don't care, I love it anyway. And that's all for the future to come, I guess. My next video will probably be a top 10 series of all time, maybe discussing them briefly, not going in too crazily deep because that would take forever, maybe doing some full series discussions on those at some point in the future, but maybe just introducing those and talking about them a little bit to kind of give everyone a better idea of who I am as a reader and what I like to read and what I like my books to be about. But other than that, I'm not too sure. I might do like some TBR videos maybe once a month or something, talk about what I'm going to read and do stuff like that, but that's all for future me to figure out. So for right now, I guess that's all I've got, and I'm excited to be here, and I will see you guys around.